So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
There's a version of success that looks great on Wikipedia and still leaves you doing the math every single week.
This week, we're talking with W. Kamau Bell, comedian, filmmaker, and a man who describes his current life as 3 kids, 9 jobs.
We get into what basic cable money actually means versus what you thought it meant. What happens to your career when DEI becomes a 4-letter word, why he's launching a podcast he's paying for himself rather than let anyone else own it.
And what it costs professionally and personally to be the guy who has to write the thing that no one else wants to write.
The creative economy is broken, but some people are still making it work. We're here to find out how.
I'm Anna Marie Cox.
And I'm Open Mike Eagle.
And this is Past Due. W. Kamau Bell, welcome to the show. You are an Emmy and Peabody Award-winning comedian. I don't need to tell you this.
No, it's just fun to hear. It's fun to hear you say that. Like it was like I could feel the Wikipedia entry, but it's fun, you know.
Wikipedia has entered the chat.
It's fun. It's fun to hear about my things, but it's also funny to hear about them from people who I feel like, you know me. It's like you don't have to say.
There's maybe things. Like 7 people who listen to us who don't know who you are. So the intro.
I know. I understand. I mean, you who are on. I get that many people are. So I'm sorry. I'll start over.
I like this. We're keeping it. Yeah, this is the show. For those of you who don't know, which does not include either the host or the guest. You are an Emmy and Peabody Award-winning filmmaker and comedian. And you had a show on CNN. We might have to talk about this explicitly, that also won some shit and got canceled still. Weird. And canceled in the way that people use canceled before we said canceled. Like,
I didn't do, let's be clear. Like I didn't get canceled.
The show got
the enterprise of the show got canceled. It wasn't like, I guess we can't do the show anymore after the unfortunate incident with Kamau.
The thing he said, which we will not mention.
The thing that he said that he doubled down on and then claimed he found Jesus, so it was okay that he said it.
Well, you would actually be more popular on Rumble now if that had happened. You would be like making, a few $100,000 a year from just streaming on Rumble. We have a question that we open with, and I'm going to make Mike ask it.
You don't have to make me because I want to ask it. Okay, and I also feel like because of the conversations that Kamau and I have had, I kind of know the answer to it already. But the question we start every conversation with on this podcast is, when's the last time you were worried about covering your monthly expenses?
This morning? The thing that I don't know if I started saying this recently, and I don't know how, I don't remember writing it, but I started saying it, 3 kids, 9 jobs. So I feel like that's a thing I say when I started to justify everything that I'm doing to myself. I think I started saying it to myself, like, well, 3 kids, 9 jobs. Like, you did this to yourself. You had these 3 kids, so you're gonna have these 9 jobs. And also in the current state of the showbiz industry that I guess I'm still a part of nominally, I know it's basically all on me at this point. Like, every dollar that comes in, I have to go sort of grab. And occasionally, most of the dollars that come in, occasionally somebody goes, hey, would you like this? But it's very few and far between now. Like, I would say the CNN show is an example of, like, I worked for that, but I didn't have to there's a lot of people who worked for that. Right. Whereas now it is like I'm doing the lion's share of the work for the dollars that come in. So yeah. And knowing that, it used to be that, like, because of the work I did, like, people were excited to bring the guy who was funny about racism and diversity and equity and inclusion to their company, whatever. They're not that excited about it anymore. So
so weird. It's strange how that changed. There's like almost a point that you can. There's almost like a date that you could actually point to.
Sure. Yeah.
The wind started blowing pretty hard the other direction. Yeah.
Yes. So, and I would just to wrap this up, I would say that like, so every day I'm sort of like going, okay, like I just did it this week. Actually, I'm late, not late, but we had to push this because I had therapy this morning. And I said to my therapist, this is the amount of money I'm making this week. like I have this gig tomorrow and a gig the next day. I got a gig on Saturday, and that all adds up to it's not the best amount. Okay. So I just said that I thought about this morning.
You would be surprised, or maybe actually no, you wouldn't be surprised about the number of people who respond with like today, this week. Earlier this month. I think that's true. I think me and Mike can always answer pretty honestly within the last 48 hours.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm very familiar with what my friend Dara calls, you got to kill what you eat.
Yes.
It is a daily hunter-gatherer situation for the creative economy right now.
No, I think when I grew up, there's a Dunkin' Donuts commercial that started time to make the donuts. And I think about that all the time. Like, I got to make the donuts so I can sell the donuts. The donuts aren't going to make themselves. There's also a dog food commercial. They said the dog food made its own gravy. I think about that all the time. I got to make my own gravy. I got to make my own gravy. I can't wait for someone else to make the gravy.
You said 3 kids, 9 jobs, and 9 is a big number. I'm very curious. Is that an actual amount of jobs, or is that like an exaggerated number?
No, if it's anything, here's the thing. Things that I'm working on to make happen, it's not exaggerated at all. It's probably more than 9. Like 9 is probably, but things that I'm sort of like, not, as you know, I don't know if you know in this business, sometimes you just have to work on projects and hope they come and then they don't show up. I don't know if you've ever had that happen.
Oh, God.
In this business. So right now there are like 3 to 4 different documentaries that I'm sort of like involved with. 2 of which I think those will sell, and one of which I'm like, I'm going to make that no matter what happens. And one that I was brought into that none of them could sell, but I'm doing the work. I got to do the work. But because we're doing the work on those things, I then have to make sure like, hey, Kamau, do you want to do, and I'm just saying, hey, Kamau, do you want to do stand-up comedy for $500 tonight? I do actually want to do stand-up comedy for $500 tonight.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there was a time when I had United Shades where I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm already traveling enough.
We all 3 could talk about TV money and like,
oh yeah.
TV money is amazing.
And let's be clear, I was basic cable money. It wasn't like, I think let's separate. It's not Ted Danson on Cheers money or Seinfeld. Yeah.
Not even, for me, not even prestige cable money. Basic.
Yeah. No, not even
cable.
like,
that's all 3 of us. I was MTV, like MTV, CNN, Comedy Central.
Comedy Central, yeah.
Like, I'm not making I'm not making new house money, right? But enough money to turn down work. That is what TV money meant to me.
Yeah.
Was like, or I remember I was like putting together my website today, which is not always fun to like go back and like be like, well, this is what I used to do. And this is what I do today. Here's my tip jar. Support me on Patreon, buddy. But I wrote a big piece about Ted Cruz for Harper's in 2018. And I remember getting that assignment and they were like, we can only pay you X amount of money. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Because I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing it for the clip. I wasn't doing it, for anything.
You wanted to write the piece.
I just wanted to write the piece. And I was able to do that without really thinking like, when is that check going to come? And boy, when is that check going to come is now like the major, that's the fucking name of the show.
Past due. Yeah. Chasing down invoices.
As I sit here, and I do this a lot, I start to think about like, okay, what work do I have coming in? What work can I count on? What work do I think is going to happen? That's a constant like cycle through my head. And then because I've also I used to have an assistant, I don't have an assistant anymore. Same. I'm also now my own assistant, and I'm always telling people my assistant sucks. He blows. It's like Devil Wears Prada. I feel about my assistant the same way Miranda Priestley felt about Andy. So and I have to sort of say that jokingly because I'm not, the organization part is the part I'm worst at. And about a week ago, I realized I was flying to a gig. I was like, wait a minute, I don't have a hotel the first 2 nights I'm there. My assistant sucks. That dude, if he wasn't related to me, is a Nepo hire, he would be out of here. So yeah, there's just a lot more that I have to do now that I was privileged not to have to do for a while.
Along those lines, right? Because I used to have an assistant at the height of my TV endeavors. I also used to have a lot of reps then, much more than I do now, as not only has the industry downsized, but my involvement in it has downsized. So you no longer have an assistant. Do you still have a lot of reps? I know if you're still trying to sell a bunch of stuff, it would stand to reason you still need a bunch of people on that end.
Yeah. So I still, like, before I still have the same representation I've always had. And I think they always understood that I was like it's good to have a guy like Kamau around.
Like a 5-tool player, you can fit in a bunch of places.
Exactly. Okay. And also, when you tell people you represent Kamau, generally like, oh, your community work. You know what I mean? So,
sorry.
No, that was meant to be funny. But it's like, I think that I talked to my agent, my stand-up agent, who's been with me. She was the person who signed me. And she represents lots of people who are better earners than me, but I've never felt like I had a problem getting her on the phone. Now I also don't call her every day, but we had to talk about the numbers and the ticket sales and across the industry and da-da-da. And I'm not saying I think if they were to drop me, I would be like, I get it, but they've always been very clear that and I've also, that my highs are pretty high, and they also feel like they can down out on my highs on like some of their clients where their clients' highs they can't really down out on in the same way. Which I'm sort of giving myself a little bit of credit here, but I think it's credit that I fought for I make things that when people that can be smart and you can talk about them at a dinner party without being embarrassed. And you also make you sound like you're a smart person if you work in show business.
And some people do care about hearing from people, who, remember when we started wanting to hear from people who weren't like all straight white guys? I think that's not cool right now, but there is a community of people who still care. And I think, unfortunately, the looking for new people has stopped, but
at the same time,
you're right there as a voice.
Yeah. Although I'm firmly in my unk era as my hair tests. So, and I've accepted that. I'm not mad at that. And also, I think that I'm starting a podcast. We haven't announced the date that it comes out, but I had a guest named Open Mike Eagle on my podcast, and and so
this guy,
I know that name
among the first handful of guests, because I really only wanted to reach out to people at first who I was like, I actually want to talk to this person, and I think they'd want to talk to me. I don't have to talk anybody into being on it right away, and so Mike was great, and we had a great time, But part of that was I started it. And at first when I was starting to pitch it 2 years ago, I was looking for somebody to pay for me to make it. But then you realize that comes with them owning a part of it or all of it or some of it. Mm-hmm. And as I sort of went through the process, I was like, oh no, even though it's not the best time for me to own this, I need to own this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the best time. I'm not financially flushed in a way. I'm like, I'll pay for it. It's no big deal. No, it's a deal. It's a big deal. But I also know that right now I'm sort of very clear that 2026 is both about DIY, but it's also about owning what you DIY and not. Yeah. And so I have if I don't own it, I can't benefit from it if it actually does something, or I can't make decisions for it. I have to consult with somebody else about the decisions for it.
On this week's bonus edition of Past Due, we asked Kamau the thing no one ever asks a person with 9 jobs. What's the one thing you've done that you absolutely did not want to do, and it turned out to be the best decision you ever made?
His answer involves the Ku Klux Klan, a phone call from Substack, and going to work scared every single day.
Hear it now at patreon.com/pastdue.
At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV. Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free.
The truth is out.
It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Kayak gets my flight, hotel, and rental car right, so I can tune out travel advice that's just plain wrong.
Bro, Skycoin. Way better than points.
Never fly during a Scorpio full moon.
Just tell the manager you'll sue. Instant room upgrade.
Stop taking bad travel advice. Start comparing hundreds of sites with Kayak and get your trip right. Kayak. Got that right.
Speaking of stuff you don't own.
I just cannot wait till I hear the rest of that sentence.
Well, you know, we're talking a lot about transitioning in and out of television careers and that sort of thing. And so you had a very successful show on CNN, United Shades of America, that ran for 7 seasons, which is unheard of these days.
No, I was like TV Hall of Fame. If there was a TV Hall of Fame, 7 seasons. I'm like the guy who gets in. Like technically, you get in, like the NBA. Like that guy never won a championship, but his stats are good.
He's an all-star 7 times. Of
as the basic cable, news person appearer.
No,
that's incredible. Like
it's incredible.
Most cable news shows like cycle through with the seasons. Like they are always trying to like tinker with schedules, because most people don't even know that cable news has a schedule, right? Like it's not appointment television. Like you turn on CNN or MSNBC and like, oh, there's a person I recognize. Oh, is that their time slot?
Yeah, exactly. And let me be clear, and I mean, we maybe you're going to get to this. I was very much, and I'm aware of this, surfing the Anthony Bourdain wave as I got to CNN, and so that by the time he tragically died, I had been there for like 4 years. Like that wasn't the time to cancel the show, So, and also I had like won them a handful of trophies at that point. And so there was a point at which I thought, oh, I'll just have this show until I'm done having this show. And then the network got bought by people, and my boss still works there. Emmy and Peabody is great. We still talk sometimes, but like, I feel like I didn't get canceled. The network got canceled. Like it was like the whole idea of what CNN was when I was there got canceled. And so, I tell people like, I don't feel personally offended because they cleared out everybody they were able to clear out. They were like, and then some of the people they cleared out because they did things, scare quotes. And then, but it was like getting people's salaries off the board. It was clear. And then they've only now started to make like sort of documentary series again, but they're not like what I was doing. So, it's, me and Eva Longoria don't even hang out that much anymore. So, so it's like, they're not even making the television I was making,
Yeah. But that's sort of what I wanted to get at is the experience of that coming to an end. I think a lot of people who, have creative ambitions or are trying to figure out how to navigate having, once had some success, and then with the shrinking of the industry and how tough the economy is now, a lot of people are having to deal with the feeling of transitioning opportunities. And I'm curious for you, just as somebody who has survived that transition with a good spirit, what was it like, and how do you stay positive through letting something like that go?
Who said I stayed positive? How dare you?
It looks like it.
I smile. I like to smile my way through. So I think a lot of this comes down to, first of all, I'm an only child. So I think I'm just sort of used to having to figure things out on my own. Like I think that's just the nature of being an only child, is that you're like, nobody's here to make dinner. Time to figure out how to cook a hamburger. You know what I mean? Like just sort of like, and so I think in some sense, I'm maybe at most at peace when I'm sort of like by myself. And this is crazy to say. And me and my girls, me and my daughters, my wife, who's one of 4, talk about this all the time, that Dada needs to be alone sometimes. Like he just needs to be like, cause it's just my only childness. So we've talked about it very openly. And so first of all, I saw the end of the CNN show coming about a year before it was like, I saw the sea change at CNN coming. And I sort of felt like this show may not survive that sea change. So I sort of was like, so at that point, it's funny you talk about representatives. I actually went to my representatives and we talked about that. Like this thing may not have much more in it, not because it's bad, just because it's CNN's going to do something else. At the time, I thought, well, I'll be able to take this idea, not the show, but I'll still be allowed to travel places and talk to people. They didn't own that part of the show. I'll still be able to go do the show, do some version of it somewhere else. And we started making plans for that. And then the whole industry Trumpified. Right. And that's when it was like, oh, wait, what now? That was when, the show, and the show had been over for a while before regular people realized that I hadn't been on the air for a while. For about 2 years after the show was over, people would be like, when is it coming back? Because people don't pay attention to the seasons, like you said. And they don't pay attention to the fact that they haven't seen you in 2 years. They just know they used to see you and they keep waiting for you to come back. And they don't know your show normally starts in April and ends in the summer. They don't pay attention to that. So, which is fine. So by the time that people realized it, I'd already sort of reckoned with it. And it was I had to explain to people, no, the show's not coming back. But at that point I thought, oh, but there's other things you're going to be hearing from me soon on a major platform. Cause I had a plan and I had, we can have money. I had a contract in place for another thing that then the whole industry shifted in a not that way direction. Yeah. And I suddenly was and this is where representatives are helpful. And I've never talked about this before. I got paid out for that contract, which it took a while, but I got paid out for that. It's the first time I ever got paid not to work. I got paid out for that contract, which actually gave me a little bit of breathing room that I wouldn't have had otherwise while I sort of figured out well, what do I do now? So, thank you to people who honor their contracts because not everybody does that.
Damn.
And so I was in this sort of no man's land for a while that people didn't realize. Some people thought, oh, the show must be coming back soon.
Yeah.
And so how do I handle it? I guess when we get to the thing is by keeping my head down and realizing this contract only pays for the next year. So I better already be working on that the year after that. I better be, so that the way I handle it is really understanding that it's on me. And the best version of me is the one that sort of can show up and be like, hey, and smile, Yeah. As much as Anna called me grumpy when we started, the best version of me is a little bit between there's a little bit of I sort of know that I operate best when I'm sort of operating from a place of let's have fun with this and have a good time. And if I show up oh, fuck, it's not going to be good. And it may not be good if I show up with a smile, but it's really not going to be good if I show up if I show up covered in that as opposed to just having it in my heart.
I meant grumpy in your heart. That's
okay. Yeah, good.
That's what I meant. I want to dig down a little bit on that because you just told us that you had gotten out of therapy right before the show, and
you were not supposed to bring that up. That was not to be. I think I brought it up.
Yeah, I think you did. And when I pitched this show to Mike, one of the things that I said was, I feel like talking about finances is the next frontier after we've all destigmatized talking about mental health. Because for me, I mean, they're innately connected. I mean, I realize that I would probably have a more open life if I could unhook my sense of self from how much money I'm making. But it is something, I'll put it this way, which is the past few years have been a great opportunity to practice that detachment. Yes. So then I think that what the three of us have in common is this sense of I was at a place in my life, in my career, where I thought, okay, well, everything goes up and up from here, right?
Sure.
I've gotten to a level where it's not again, it's all basic cable stuff for the three of us. I was making as much money as I ever thought I would make, right? More money than I thought I would make, right? Totally comfortable. I was married to someone who was making equal or more amounts of money. And everything was super stable and, well, at least from the outside. And I felt even when I lost the jobs that I had, I thought, well, this is going to be a temporary blip because I am at the place in my career. I have established this point, and how can it go down from here?
Yep.
And then when it went down, I've had to do a lot of work, and I'm just curious how that work is going for you. Not work. Oh, sorry, I'm very clear. Not the work, not the jobby job.
Okay. You mean the internal work?
Yeah.
Well, so I have, luckily for me, so my mom, who is about to turn 89 years old, We had just, one of the things we did recently was we moved into a new house. There was room for my mom. She lived about 10 minutes from us before. Now she lives 10 seconds from us. So in our house. And so, which is great. Cause I grew up mostly with my mom. And one of the things I say, my mom like went through in the most loving way possible, every self-help trend of the 80s that was available for a Black woman to go through. So none of the ones that cost money, but like she read all the Shirley MacLaine books. She went to therapy. She was like early adopter to Oprah when Oprah was like really into all the self-help stuff. And like, we lived in Chicago. So Oprah Oprah and Michael Jordan were a necessity. And so so I actually went to therapy the first time as a teenager because my mom was just like, could see I was struggling and I was like needed somewhere to go. And Mike, you might find this funny. The first therapist I went to was a Black guy, and he basically focused on, "Are you doing drugs?" And I said, "No." He said, "Are your friends doing drugs?" I go, "Well, one of my friends smokes weed. That's the problem."
Wow.
And so we just spent
very limited toolkit he had.
My friend Jason and how his drug problem was going to affect me, and then I would end up smoking the drugs. And but then I found a therapist who understood it was about like, what are your issues? So I have always sort of over the course of my life spent probably more time in therapy than your average Black guy of my age. And there's been times where I've gone you dip in and you dip out, or you move and you da-da. And so I don't know, this guy, I think we traced it back at sometime around the pandemic is when it started, which seems like a great time. And so, I've never been that far away from it. Now I say this, therapy is expensive. Mm-hmm. He literally has to submit letters to my insurance company. Now my insurance is through, and this is so great. The Directors Guild of America, because I'm in the Directors Guild, which is great. Thank you, Directors Guild, for allowing me to join. I got to join because of my Cosby project. And he has to tell my insurance company, like, okay, is he still needing therapy? Like every few months. And he's like, yeah. Well, what's wrong with him? And then also, well, if he's still messed up, why don't you put him on? Should he be on drugs? So now I've gone the full
Now you're therapy. They're trying to
maybe he should be on some drugs, and maybe this, and he has to sort of say no, he still needs talk therapy, but he's not so bad that he needs drugs. But he's still not. And I feel like he should be able to go. He's still a Black man in America, so I think this therapy is gonna need to go for a while. And I'm lucky enough that I have the insurance that's even open to it. Whereas, as we know, most Black people don't even have that available to them. So I know I'm privileged for that.
Yeah, not
easily available. Or don't have it in them to even think to ask for it, because most of us didn't grow up with a mom like mine who was like, therapy is the thing you should be looking for. So thankfully the therapy has helped. And a lot of the therapy, like today was a big day where I was just like, where you going and go, okay, these things happen. Am I crazy or is the world crazy? Luckily, we've determined often that the world is crazy. But it's helpful to have that discussion. So, but it definitely gives me a place to sort of go to once a week, which I appreciate. But then, and to be totally honest, I don't know if I've talked about this. At one point, I did get on Zoloft because my anxiety was super high. I was feeling like this is like coming out of COVID, really just and at the time I was like, I think I'm feeling the proper thing, but I'm feeling so much of it that it's actually it's limiting my ability to be in the world. And so I did go on Zoloft, and I'm not recommending I do that. And then as my doctor told me, he's like, you can stay on this forever. You cannot stay on this forever. At some point I felt like, I think this has helped. I also don't feel like I'm needing it in the same way. So with the doctor's help, I weaned myself off. And now I feel anxious, but I feel like I'm supposed to feel anxious, but it's not paralyzing me the way it was. So that's a lot of answer to that question.
I think I appreciate it. And number two, I feel I need to do a PSA, which is technically everyone's insurance should cover some kind of therapy. It is actually part of Obamacare. It's part of the Mental Health Parity Act. It may be hard to get, but if you are a listener and you have insurance, it is available and it should be covered to some degree. I personally I get my health insurance through the Obamacare, through the Affordable Care Act, and you can do a search for prioritizing behavioral health. So technically if I go someone in my plan, it's $20 a month. for $20 a session. So
great.
boo.
No, it's just funny to me. It's just like the fact that the Directors Guild of America, which understands how hard it is, especially right now for directors to have jobs, and I'm black. Like I just feel like that you would be like, just send him through. He's gonna be here for the long. He's got a lifetime contract of therapy.
There's a lot of different sort of demographics that should just be able to get like, oh, okay, you're queer, like here's your free pass, like unlimited therapy.
If reparations started there, we could talk. If it just started with I'm not saying that's the height of what we want, but the low bar should be you get to show up for therapy and your job pays for your time off. Like just the two things back to back.
And then I think there should be a form of very mandatory conversion therapy for conservatives. So.
Wow, that PSA took a different direction.
Yeah, went left.
Like, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Good. They are bringing conversion therapy back for queer folks. So yeah, we might as well, if we're doing it.
Yeah.
So you have done what a lot of people consider to be the ideal career arc for stand-ups. Like you start, you grind it out, you get a TV show or two, you get these opportunities in Hollywood, and that's, the top of the mountain for a lot of folks, or at least that's as far out as they imagine.
Sure, for sure.
Given that you've been to the top of the mountain, seen what that's like,
the promised land,
and are having to work back from a grind place now, like what is the outlook for you like going forward? Is there a stable sort of position that you could envision for yourself going forward in showbiz, given how things are right now?
So first of all, when I'm 64, my youngest will be 18, and I think about that number probably once a month. And full disclosure, I'm 11 years out from that. So like, so I think about the fact that like, by the time I get there, I should be in a place where I can slow down.
Word.
So I feel like I have like an 11-year grinded out contract with this business, with whatever my career is. And then at that point, if I haven't figured out a way to slow it down at that point, then I've really fucked up. So I'm trying to like sort of go, hey man, you should have paid off your house, or you should be close to it. You should be in a position where, because you're not feeding all these people and you're not paying for all these expenses. So I look at that. So because I don't envision ever being able to stop working.
Right.
So but I don't want to be like, yes, I'll take, and $500 is a lot of money, but I don't want to be in a position where I feel like I have to take it every time. I would like to, I would like to be able to have a life where I'm like, well, no, tonight I'm good. And I get $500 is a lot of money. So I would say, so that's what I think. I sort of prepare, like this podcast is my big effort to like, I'm going to make a thing that I own. And I know sometimes these podcasts break big and the money can be ridiculous. Now I know I'm going to be charged a black tax, so it's not going to be ridiculous the way it is for some of these white dudes. But I'll take half ridiculous. So that's my big effort to like do something that like could have a big a positive financial impact, and I'm investing in it. And as you saw, like we had a set, and I'm just trying to make it, trying to do something. So, but it's also a gamble. So I know that the only way I can get to a place of like not having to really think about money is one, gambling on something that hits that sustains itself and more, and the other thing is like just hoping that at some point I end up in a place where somebody goes, hey, do you want to be the I'm trying to think of an appropriate animal, the squirrel in this new Pixar movie 9 times in a row? Like, sort of like, that's just the thing. But I'm also not auditioning for that. So that's a pretty low chance. But that has been known to happen, that people end up being a squirrel, 9 times in a row. I really had to search hard for an animal that didn't have racial
not donkey, not monkey,
yep. not yeah. I was like, raccoon. No, I really had to. That's what took me a second. I was like, don't do it, Kamau. Don't just say the first thing comes to your mind, because it's always going to be something racist. So, and but I'm also like, one of the things that happened when I realized I had to sort of figure out ways to make money is I went back to stand up. I had taken like a 5-year break from stand up and thought I was retired, really, and going back to stand-up means, okay, I could also build a stand-up career back up, and that could be a thing that and they don't really buy these huge specials anymore. So I guess I'm placing a lot of I'm gambling a lot with my career, but in smart ways, like poker, not roulette. So that one of these things could hit in such a way that you're like, but I'm gonna have to but I know I've got to do a lot of them. I can't just gamble on stand-up, and I can't just gamble on the podcast. And also, like, I sold 2 books last year, one that I co-wrote with a friend of mine, Adam Mansbach, and one that I have to write myself. So I'm also like really like looking at like what are the things in this industry that I'm capable of doing that one of these books could hit big, but they also come with advances that sort of sustain me for now,
Yeah. I want to talk about the stand-up stuff a little bit, because you said you had thought that you had left that part of your life and gone upward to the mountaintop, I suppose. It's not a stand-up mountaintop.
I think out of COVID, like I thought out of COVID, I wasn't really interested in being in small rooms with people laughing in my face as a black man who has all the comorbidities.
I get it. I totally get it. And so I really just, yeah. Well, so I'm curious though, so you transitioned out of it for many good reasons. And now you're back. And I'm curious how it's changed for you. Like beyond even, like we had Josh Gondelman on who talked a lot about the economics of specials these days, or the lack of economics of specials. But I'm wondering if it feels different than it used to, in addition to the economics of it.
So I always say I got one of the Netflix specials when they were paying money for them. I didn't get Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle money, but I got down payment on a house money. That was literally what that money was. So, and I feel very like, normally I'm not in the cool place at the cool time. So I felt really lucky that I got in the cool place at the cool time. And so I came back to stand up and thought, okay, I'll come back to stand up and put together my act and you'll see about a special. By the time, and my agent was like, it's not a thing. Like, like that is a thing for and I sort of understood that was the thing for the up and coming new exciting person, a la like a Matt Rife where he was at that point, or it's a thing for like the established vets who have like the established guys who are like still considered to be valuable because people know their names, or the people who are big on the internet. There's that sort of thing too. So I'm none of those things. So, so I sort of had this moment of like, oh, I guess I'm just doing stand up. I'm not building towards anything, which for me is kind of weird. When I started back, it was this thing where I would like, I didn't want to start going to the open mics, and like, I just didn't want to do it in a way that made me feel like I was like out at late at night away from my kids in a back of a club waiting to get up. And I live in the Bay Area, and I could get up fairly regularly wherever I wanted to go because they know me, but I just didn't want to do it that way. I just didn't want to be in a club trying to convince people that I was funny. And so I started doing these shows at this small 50-seat theater at the Berkeley Rep, which is this major repertory theater, but has a 50-seat theater, where I would like say, can I just do one night a week? And because it's a theater that is mostly a classroom, they're like, yeah, do you want to do Saturdays? I was like, do I want to do Saturdays? Of course I want to do Saturdays. Do you want to do Saturdays at 7? Yes. Like, I thought I'd have to do Tuesdays at 3. And so I started doing Saturdays at 7. And it was this whole thing where when I came back, I was like, I told my wife, I need the whole day to get ready, and I got to go to my office, and I got to like I just don't know what it's going to be like. And then I would go to the show, and the show would be kind of suck. And I'd be sitting in my notebook the whole day, like, I don't know what to write. My middle kid, was like, at some point, like when I kept doing it, she's like, can I come with you? And I was like, I'm working and I don't know if I can And finally she's like, I'll be okay. So I brought her with me. She would make me coffee. She would bring me she would take notes. Eventually during the shows, she would like interrupt me because she was sort of sitting slightly off stage and start going, that's not how that happened, or this thing. And we developed like a 2-person act.
Oh,
like,
wow.
That like I did it at Largo, and I brought her down and she sat off stage and we did it at the Berkeley Rep in front of like in their 700-seat theater, this 11-year-old who's sort of like me, an introvert, and she's like got a light on her, and we come on stage together and we do this whole thing, and it became a much more fun experience for me because I wasn't gatekeeping my art from my family. Now, I'd still go on the road and do it by myself. And when I go on the road, I bring my friend Dwayne Kennedy, who is like
shout out to Dwayne,
the godfather of Chicago comedy, and like one of my best friends, known him forever. Because I need somebody with me who's like, Dwayne understands me, and he's known me forever. So I do have to do it in a way that I feel like I'm protected and taken care of, which means sometimes taking Dwayne Kennedy, my fourth child, or sometimes it means taking my kids. My oldest daughter sings and plays guitar, so she's open for me sometimes, singing a couple songs. She opened for me at Largo, actually. And it just was like, it just made me feel like, it made me feel connected to so I'm not running away from my family to do stand-up, which is what a lot of stand-ups do. And then later they do the special about how they're divorced. I don't know if you've ever seen that special before. Have you ever seen a stand-up comic talk about how they're recently divorced? And it just felt like it became inclusive of my family in a way that like now my 7-year-old will like go a story will happen with her. She's like, tell that on stage and then tell me how it does, you know?
Wow.
So that is what it's also
I'm
part
not
of the,
sure. I don't know if I love Tell Me How It Does.
Yeah, no, I kind of like, I mentioned Miranda Priestley early. I think I'm raising a mixed race black Miranda Priestley, honestly. She's very intense. She's definitely going to say, why is no one ready at some point? So it just really mentally made me a healthier, it made the shows more fun. It made me feel less protective of the creativity. She would count how many times I swore, which made me sort of pay attention to my dirty potty mouth. And then when she's not there, it just means I feel like it's more fun. It's like, oh, I can do it like this. So it didn't feel like I was like, your dad's a stand-up and he's got to be alone. You know? So, which, you know, at one point when I had Totally Biased, my first show, Chris Rock said to me, he's like, you bring your family around too much. Now, I'm not in any way, he was saying like they're distracting you. He was probably right, but I also think that I would rather my family distract me than feel like I was disconnected.
Also, he's a famously divorced guy, right? Like, isn't he? He's like living the stereotype.
I mean, he wasn't at the time, and I really feel like I'm not. You know, I think everybody has to do it differently.
I say, even if you didn't.
Yeah, there you go. But at the time, I remember being like, but I don't want, like, I felt, because it was Totally Biased. I was working like 16-hour days. And if I don't bring my daughter and my wife to the set when we tape the show, I don't know what I'm doing this for. Like, I don't know what I'm like, why am I busting my ass like this? Now, you know, the show got canceled. I'm sure he could tell me, like, I told you, Roger. But I think there's a part of me that's like, before I'm any of this, I think at this point, especially in my career, before I'm any of this, I'm a dad and a husband. And I think that, like, I have to sort of be that wherever I am. And if I can't bring that part with me, then fuck y'all. Honestly, like I'll just go home. I'm an only child.
Something that comes up a lot on the show is connection and community, though, and getting through the times that have come for us all in all these different industries, right? Yeah. That when you are comfortable in a financial way, when you have the outside markers of success, which is a time that you should feel free to connect, right? Like if everything's going great, then shouldn't that be the time that you spend time with your family? And I'm not saying that we don't, right? Mm-hmm. But it's during the times when you have less stability in the outside that it turns out, you know, like I know that I have spent more time developing my connections to other people because they're just so much more necessary than they were when I was feeling comfortable. So makes sense to me. And also it sounds to me like, you know, there's some kinds of comedy and some kinds of art that fit a particular time in your life. And if you don't change your art to fit where you are in a new place, then like, why are we doing this? Like,
yeah, I've always been a fan of the artists who like sort of are always wrestling with the same, like sort of like, you know, it's like I would say Bob Marley sang about weed, women, and the revolution, and he just sort of remixed those elements. And so my whole career has been about telling you where I'm at in my personal, like people who follow me career remember me saying, my girlfriend is white, my fiance is white, my wife is white, my wife is pregnant. Like my wife, you know, there's sort of my wife, we had our first kid. There's a through line that now is like, and now you're seeing these kids on stage a little bit, you know? So it's like, it feels like for people who followed me, and there've been people in the Bay Area who followed me since I was, you know, for, you know, 20 years now, have seen the through line. And so to me, it feels like the through line continues, you know? So it's just in a way that I wasn't expecting. Like, I'm not forcing my kids to get on stage with me. But like, if they want to, let's have a good time.
If you're looking for some of the sharpest takes on film and television, I hope you'll tune in to Critics at Large from The New Yorker.
Over Over here at Critics at Large, we like talking about what we loved, but crucially, what we hated about what we're watching.
But even more, we like making sense of what's happening in the culture right now and how we got here.
Join us as we make our way from Eddington to Moby Dick, from Ted Lasso to the rise in therapy speak, from The Pit to Luigi Mangione.
It's Critics at Large from The New Yorker, wherever you get your podcasts.
A couple of things you said there that really resonate with me, because one, I've been a historically world champion compartmentalizer. So my one thing my therapist is often trying to encourage me to do is to be more of myself, especially creatively. So I'm like, damn, okay, I can see how the particular sort of joy that could bring you having everything included on stage, or having different aspects of your life included on stage. But the other thing is, you talked about, looking ahead to 64. And one of the main things that you don't want to be in a position to have to do then is stand up for whatever amount of money somebody's offering you. And that reminds me of something I think about a lot, because as, my TV thing peaked and then waned, I was in a position where I had to perform more. I had to do way more live shows. And when I think about my future, similarly, what I don't want to be doing when I'm 60 is having to perform as much. And I think that for me, there's a thing about I don't want to have to do the physical intensive labor of performing on stage. Then I'd rather be making money with my mind somehow. And I do wonder if that's a similar factor for you.
Yeah, I mean, people are always so amongst my good friends, I mean, I talk about it a lot. Dwayne has heard me say this all the time. If somebody was like Kamau, there's an amount of money at which I'd be like, I quit everything. I would be like, and people are because I do think that again, as an only child, my resting state is in a room by myself. That would be where I was, yes, but sort of I don't have the need to be on stage the way that a lot of my peers have the need to be on stage, where it's where they feel like I'm most alive there. And I feel like, no, I'm alive there, but I'm not most alive there, So people are like, well, you would still work a little bit. I was like, yeah, I would go it'd be fun to do stand-up comedy tonight. I'll go do it. But I wouldn't when I see, okay, there's so many reasons to talk about this guy, but Seinfeld is out there doing 300 dates a year. He's trying to make, he's the rent is past due. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that a little bit. I don't get that. So for me, the goal is if you hit a certain amount of, I always joke about your accountant calls and goes, you won show business. For example, Jon Stewart's a great example. Jon Stewart came back to the Daily Show because he wanted to.
Retired to an animal sanctuary. That is the fucking dream.
Yeah, and so I get Jon Stewart coming back because he's I really feel like the country needs me, whatever that means. And I'm not, but I felt like he had won show business. He was able to go, I did the show, I'm retiring, good luck everybody. I get the impression he came back not because his account was but because he was I feel like I have more to add. But I'll only do it one way a week. That's how he came back because he wanted to. Because I'm sure Comedy Central was how about 5 days? And he was like, no, 1 day a week. So for me, it's the idea of I'm more likely to. I'd rather be that where I could choose. But there were things I'd want to do. I really like directing, I would imagine, but I would only direct things I wanted to direct. So the craft and the process is still fun. But I don't want to have to do it at 64. I don't want to I don't want to have to do it. Sometimes you take a gig where well, if I take this, I can do less. Maybe that happens, but I don't want to have to do it every night. Yeah.
I was just saying I want to see Mike on stage at 64.
Oh, I don't.
I want to see gray-haired Mike, kind of stiffly walking up on stage, God, no, doing some deep knee bends to
I'm already stiffly walking up on stage. Well, I'm friends with the guys, and me and Mike, I'm friends with the guys from Fishbone, and I texted Chris, one of the original members of Fishbone, the other day, and he didn't get back to me right away. And he got back to me a couple days ago, hey man, sorry to get back. I'm really feeling 60 years old right now. And you go, Fishbone, as he goes, they still stage dive. Angela's still out there,
they are.
It's a physical show. It's a physical show, and you go, but yeah, and you got to pay for it the next day and the next week, and then you got a show in the next night, so, and I think like, nothing, and I love Fishbone, but I think that he's at a point where he's like, this is how I gotta make sure the rent doesn't get past due, and this is my best way to make a living. And so I feel like partial responsible, like, how do I make it easier on them? You know what I mean? Like, how do
Fishbone retirement fund.
Yeah. How do I, yeah. So, and if I have to do it at 64, I'll do it, because of course I'll do it, but like the goal is that you somehow like, I'm sure with Chris, he still wants to write the song that like somehow makes it big on the radio, and then they can all go, whoo, so, but it's a gamble.
It gets back to the theme of the show, which is the difference between performing because you have to, and then the things that you do because you love. And I think a lot about the thing you said. I'm an only child as well. And I do think that part of one of the things that happened in my career when I got comfortable financially, I talked about the Ted Cruz story that I did, and I'm really proud of that story, and I'm really glad I did it. But I definitely didn't do as much as I could have. I felt like, well, you know what? I'm making good money. I feel really good about the stuff that I am producing. But am I going to write a book? I don't know. Am I going to like do the kind of writing that would be a little riskier? Actually, I don't know. That's risky. It's risky to put it out there, and people know me for this one thing. And it wasn't like not all that thought was conscious. I want to be very clear. I think it's but I don't want to buy into the starving artist, like you slave away on your work, and that if you're in precarity, that helps you produce great art. I don't believe that either.
I don't know that Black folks believe that. I think we don't believe in the starving artist generally. A few of us, but Basquiat was trying to get paid.
I think a lot of people who don't get paid as much as some other people probably don't think that. I think there's a lot of great female artists out there in the history who were making beds and cooking dinner and not producing their art, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, I know that this point of my life, I've had to try more things and fail at more things than I did when I was comfortable. Do you feel like you've had to like push yourself in ways that you may not have? Like, maybe there's just both kinds of things. When you're making money, you can try things you wouldn't normally, and it's just from a different space. But when you're having to do the 9 jobs, sometimes you're having to come up with 12 jobs and fail at a couple of them and let it go.
Yeah. So, there are times, and I mean, this was like where you get offered, and this has happened. Hasn't happened. A couple things. There's times you get offered. I got offered a gig where the money was so good, but I hated the idea of doing it. And you have to do that math, like, what's the amount? And as a stand-up, you do this all the time because you start out taking gigs for $50 that you're like, but I might get my ass kicked. Is $50 worth it? No, it's not. And there's gigs where you're like, for $500, but you're like, but it's I have to fly across country. Like, you're always doing the like, is it worth it math? I'm sure musicians who are touring it's the same way. Like, the gig is really good, the money's bad, but the gig is good, So I got offered $100,000 one time to do a gig. Since I don't normally talk about numbers, but here we are. And this was years ago that I was like, that gig's gonna suck.
Corporate.
Was it in Riyadh?
Corporate gig. That gig, I know, I can feel it suck. There's been a lot of gigs like this, but I'm thinking about this one in particular. That gig's gonna totally blow. And they're telling you it's going to be fun, but I just have it has all the elements. There's no way it's going to be good. If it's good, it's a surprise. It'll be but let me go in there prepared for it to suck, and it sucked. And the thing that you do, and you have to do it. It's like the corporate gigs. If we're booking you for an hour, you need to do an hour. So at some point, you're just like looking at the clock, and especially as a comic, you can't just put your head down because you're sort of like, and that's the punchline. It isn't. Okay. Let's keep going. And that's the punchline. You didn't see it. Okay. And so you're just sort of, and then you start speeding up because you're not hearing the laughs. So then you start having to it's this whole like, oh God, I think I'm at the end, but it says 48 minutes and I'm not getting paid unless I do 60. And so it's just the thing. But the whole time I was up there, I was like, $100,000.
Yeah.
$100,000. So, and the money was so good that I was like, I can eat it for $100,000. Because I've eaten it for a lot less. And And this thing is not going to be. So there are times when you go, that's the magic number. And then recently, like these projects, these documentary projects I've talked about, a couple of them were brought to me. And I was like, what? Huh? You want me to do what? and then I talked to my agent, again, representative, and I was like, I don't think I should. And he's like, you, because he's thinking from this is a good play.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And so you go, I'll meet with it and we'll see what happens. And then some of those things go for a while. I'm thinking about projects now that are from a couple years ago. They go for a while and you do all the work and they don't get sold. And you're like, I didn't even want to do that. And yet I put in like a year of work on it because it seemed like a good idea, but it turned out it wasn't nobody thought it was a good idea. And so there are things that I still do where I'm like, where I'm thinking about the business side of it. And can I figure out a way to do what I do in the bit because it might be good for my career, scare quotes. And so then it becomes my job to let the people know if I do this, I'm doing it this way. Are you okay with that? Because I have to sort of going, I don't want you to think you bought something different than what you bought. So if I do it, I'm doing it like this. And then people go, that's fine. And you kind of go, shit.
Now you got to do it.
Damn. Now, I'm not saying these projects are bad. They're just not things I envisioned when I was a kid watching Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Do you feel like you're pushing yourself in directions that you wouldn't if you weren't having to, kill what you eat?
100%. I don't know why I said it that way, but yeah. Yeah. No, if everything was equal and there was what is it? Universal basic income, I would just be doing stand-up comedy. Like it's super easy. Not easy, but it's like you can sort of procrastinate and do it at the last minute. It's fun. It's where I feel most sort of like in control as an only child. And it's where I sort of feel like my creativity gets the most sort of like gets the most juice because I make it up as I go along. Like or you not make it up, but you can sort of like just have fun with it and the audience doesn't know. And and it feels the return on I say it, they laugh. I know immediately that they're enjoying it. So yeah. Everything else I'd done has been like I remember this comic, Kevin Kataoka's like, very few comics make it. He's a comedian. Very few comics make it based on just their act. And so you have to figure out how to do other things. And that advice was great advice. So I was like, I guess I could write, like, since I write jokes. And so I start writing and I write a book and I write like blogs at first. Then I end the book and now, but last year I was like, I don't think I want to write any more books, but I think, okay, my friend Adam says we should write a children's book. Okay, I guess I like Adam. We can, and then it becomes this process of like, how do I do this thing? And then I was like, well, if I wrote another book, I would write. I like the book that I sold is called How to Have a Conversation. And I'm like, that's something I feel like I could write about. I know how to have a conversation. I hope you all feel like that. So it just sort of puts me in this position of like, what can I squeeze out of how do I make my own gravy? What more gravy can I make out of this? So I'm always like, sometimes I'm backward engineering the project out of like, what skills do I have and how can I apply them? Because I got 3 kids, 9 jobs.
We're a podcast about how creatives navigate this particular challenging time in our economy. So one of the most important things we do is turn the show over to our guests to let people know how they can best support you. So if there's anything you want to plug,
9 jobs, I understand.
You should talk about
list
7
the
of them.
9 jobs.
Yeah, so currently I have a newsletter on Substack. We'll see how long that goes. But anyway, whether it goes there or somewhere else, it is my platform is Who's With Me. So if you go to Who's With Me on Substack, but that's my platform. That's going to be the name of the podcast when it comes out. Is Who's With Me. Coming soon. I'm not allowed to say the date, but so just join me at my newsletter, and that will lead you everywhere else. I'm a good follow on Instagram. Also, we just announced yesterday that me and my friend wrote a book, a children's book that's about my family and features pictures of like cartoon images of my family. That's called Rock, Paper, Scissors, Cheese, about a game of rock, paper, scissors that goes out of control, that features the images of my wife, my 3 kids, and my mom and me playing rock, paper, scissors. And it comes out. Pre-order it now. That's the thing I need you to do. Pre-order that book because they gave us an advance. So pre-order that. Rock, paper, scissors, cheese. You have a kid somewhere in your life that will enjoy the book.
What's your favorite cheese?
What's my favorite cheese? That's a good question. String.
Right, right. You have kids.
Yeah,
sure.
That's the cheese I'm probably the most familiar with. I'm not anti-cheese, but I'm not. My wife probably would have. My wife is somewhere like my 8-year-old. Probably my 7-year-old knows more about cheese than I do. She's the real cheese connoisseur.
I really do appreciate you having on the show. The documentary I want to send people if haven't seen it is like a really important piece of art in our
Thank you.
culture today.
It was
I think
important
it's really,
for me to make it art, not just a diatribe.
Yeah,
well, thank
it's
you.
really good. Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for your time and your mind, and hope to talk to you again soon. What do you want to plug, Anna? What do you want to let them know about?
It's funny because this is coming out on 5/13. I should be in the middle of another 30 videos in 30 days by the time this comes out.
You definitely will.
Okay, so I should just say it.
Day 13.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm on day 13 of doing another 30 videos in 30 days for YouTube. Still, Mike, okay. I can ask you for advice here. I'm having trouble getting to like an actual substantial length of these videos.
Like a minute?
Well, no, I can do 3. I can do up to 3.
Okay.
And then but people on the YouTubes, they want something longer. You gotta
so we're not talking shorts on YouTube. You want to do a full...
Well, I got to get some ads.
Right. Oh, so that's a whole different... You want to do that every day?
Oh, no. I'm doing shorts.
Oh, copy that.
I'm doing shorts every day, but we got to talk at some point about...
Sure. No, easy. Well, not easy, but I do have a lot of experience there.
Right.
I have built the ability to yap real good for I can go like 20 minutes.
You gotta teach me to yap. You gotta teach me to yap solo, but I know that's gonna have to wait for a while because I'm gonna be on the road quite a bit for the month of May. I'm only home 1 week. The other 3 weeks, I'm on in the Northeast and Brooklyn, Cleveland, Montreal, Toronto, and Lansing, Michigan. That is not the right order. And then I go to the Europe. To the Europe? How's the Europe?
I don't know. I've never been to the Europe. I've been to regular Europe, but not the Europe. Anyway, I'll be headed out to Europe and the UK for 2 weeks in May. A bunch of places in the UK, plus Amsterdam and Germany. And that's all on MikeEagle.net if you want to get those specifics and get tickets to be at one of those places.
Someday I am actually going to attempt to just do your tour dates for you completely.
Well, you won't have many opportunities for these dates because they're coming up soon. They're going to be over.
But you're going to tour again. And my memory is getting better. I'm not going to forget that you're going to Lansing because that's the one that sticks out to me every time you do the list.
Well, it's like a festival.
Amsterdam, Lansing.
Yeah, and Lansing. Right. Yeah, it's a festival. Lansing is not a regular tour stop, although I have played there quite a bit.
All right. And I guess we'll see each other, figuratively next week.
Indeed.
Past Due is hosted by Anna Marie Cox and Open Mike Eagle. It's produced by Andrew Steven. You can find more at pastduepodcast.com. Help support the show by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/pastdue. You'll get bonus content, extended interviews, and more. As always, if you like what we're doing, another way to help is by subscribing, sharing the show, and leaving us a review. Thanks for listening.
We all need advice, but it's not always clear who to ask, even in 2026. Enter How To, the long-standing advice show and Emmy Award-nominated Best Personal Growth podcast that's back with new episodes and a new host. Who? Me, Mike Pesca. Each week, I tackle a listener question ranging from travel to finance to relationships and beyond with help from a world-class expert, someone who actually very much knows what they're talking about. Think of it as eavesdropping on someone else's therapy session without the copay or awkward silences. You've got questions, we'll find the experts and the answers. So follow How To with Mike Pesca wherever you get podcasts.
Have you ever asked yourself, can the president really do that? Or wondered if there was too much money in political campaigns? Then check out the new season of You Might Be Right, hosted by us, former Tennessee governors Phil Bredesen and Bill Haslam.
We're back for a brand new season now, and You Might Be Right cements the idea that constructive disagreement can lead to real problem solving. This season, we're going to dig into the role of the National Guard, AI regulation, and a lot more.
New episodes drop every other week. Follow You Might Be Right wherever you get your podcasts.